Stupid Fast Nation? How are you guys doing today? I finally decided to break the non-video making streak that I've done for the past, I don't know, almost 2 months. And I've gotten some parts in for the Banshee. I want to get that thing running. I've got a couple other projects going on. I haven't really been showing much, just maybe a little bit on my Instagram. And sometimes I do a community post here and there, but what I want to do is I want to get cracking on this thing. I got a couple little things I want to do to it. And I think I got it figured out finally after an entire year of this thing sitting down. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the process. All right, guys. In the last video, I kind of showed you guys some parts that I had on order for this. I'm gonna go ahead, take a second and run you guys through what I have for this and what my process of troubleshooting is gonna be. And then we'll go ahead and change the stuff out and narrow it down to what the problem is. All right, guys, so what I got here is the stuff that we're gonna install today. I got the Pro Taper bars, the handle grip, I got some new lime green handles, and I got a Dyna coil that I already installed. So that's already on. It's a very expensive coil. It's one of the best ones you can buy. That's already on. I've also got a CDI, a stator, and a flywheel here, right? So CDI, stator, and flywheel. Those are all from eBay. Each one of those is about $25 to $30. Very, very cheap. The CDI was 24 bucks. The flywheel was 30, and the stator was like 27 bucks. Very, very cheap. We're gonna try them out. We're gonna see, we're gonna test the quality. I wanna see if these things actually work. So I'm gonna shut up now. We're gonna go ahead and get these things installed. As you can see, I've got all of my tools laid out, ready to go. Necessary beverage, which I don't think I can show in the video because, you know, promotional things and stuff like that. So yeah, guys, let's get it. All right, guys, so we're gonna make this very simple. I've removed this stuff 100 times before. I make it really, really easy when I go ahead and do things on the Banshee. It's foot peg shifter, stator cover, unwire everything, and I'll literally have it done in about 10-15 minutes. It's really an easy process. So let's go ahead and just get it. You start by taking the foot peg off. It's a 14mm socket. Slide that out of the way. Take the bolt off for the shifter. Very, very easy, guys. Take that guy off there. Then take the bolts for the stator cover off. Sarcasm waiting for you. I like to use an impact to get the stator bolt off because it's really easy and it only takes a second. Then you got to use your special puller tool. This thing you can get on eBay for like 20 bucks. This one's a Tusk. I've been using it for years. I love it. It works on Banshees and Blasters, if I remember correctly. Comes right off. The stator is very simple. It's 3 Phillips head bolts and 2 or 3 plugs. 2 plugs, 2 wires over at the CDI. Keep trying to get. Now, one thing I'd like to say is every time I put my stators on, I always run a +4 timing. I like +4 for Banshee. It's pretty universal. A lot of guys, that's all they run is +4 timing on these. That's all I've ever run in many years that I've owned the Banshees, and it's pretty universal. It works very, very good for many applications. When you do dyno tuning, sometimes you'll be within 1 to 2 degrees, but for the most part, 4 degrees works very well for most applications. Just come back here for a second. I unbolted the CDI already. We got to go ahead and unplug that. Get that off. That's the stock CDI. Go ahead and slide this wiring out of here. Get that out of the way. Once you get your wiring disconnected, you have to pop this little rubber plug out. That's to stop water and whatnot from going inside the case here. And then carefully slide these wires out of the side of the engine. And that's that. 10 minutes, it's all off. Then we're going to go ahead and put everything back on. Slide your wires up through the case here, very carefully. These ones actually have a very nice coating on them, so it takes a little bit of maneuvering to get these ones in there. One tip I can give you guys when putting the stator in, I like to take my wire and run it underneath the clutch cable, underneath the carburetors there, because I don't like when anything rubs the wires for obvious reasons. We don't want to incur any electrical problems over time, so we'll take that. Try our best to feed it underneath. It can be a pain in the butt sometimes, but you just take your time, try to maneuver it like anything else with patience. This side's got a plug here. You go ahead and seat this plug in the side of the case. Like I said, that stops any fluids or anything from coming in. Then you go ahead and get your stator lined up. Put your 3 bolts back in. Very, very easy, guys. Don't tighten them down yet. You want to get your timing lined up first. Just get them started. I'm gonna go ahead and not really snug these, but sort of get them close to snug, so that way there's not any wobble in the stator. So that way I can just turn it to the timing that I want it at and set it up. There's a nice little indicator here when you get the adjustable timing plate. This indicator will show you anything from -10 all the way up to +10 degrees timing. What you do to line this up is you'll have your little marks, you line it up with the slit in the case. That's where you set your timing at. So +4, we put it on the 4th mark, tighten one of our 3 bolts down, and then go do the other 2. Just like that. Don't forget your keyway. Keyway goes in the side of the crankcase for the stator, so that sets your mechanical timing pretty much. Sometimes this can be a little tricky to get lined up properly. What I like to do is eye it up. That works pretty good for me. And you stick your bolt back on, impact that down real nice. One thing you want to make sure you do is your pickup coil underneath here. You want to make sure this, and let me get a better view for you guys real quick. Your pickup coil right here has to have a gap in between the tabs on the stator and the pickup coil itself. And as this little tab rotates around, that is what sends the signal for spark in each cylinder. And it actually fires both cylinders at once. So when you're setting your gap, you want to make sure that's at 18 thousandths or the credit card thickness. And I actually will get it as close as I can, but you got to watch, like these Chinese stators are a little finicky, and each tab is different from the other. So this one might be, 25 thousandths raised off the stator, whereas the other one's a good 35 raised off the stator. And what that does is each rotation is different then. So each one that passes around is, like, I can see more light in between this one than I can the second one. So just be careful, get it as close as you can on the closer one, and that should work. Like I said, guys, for a $30 stator, if it works, I mean, what else could you really ask for? After we're done with that, we go ahead and get our cover reinstalled. Very easy, guys, very easy. You don't need them to be really tight, just snug. The shifter, I like to actually check to see where it lines up with the foot peg, especially since I have an aftermarket YFZ 450X foot peg. So I'll take mine, line it up first, see if I like where it is in reference to the foot peg, and then I'll adjust it as necessary. I actually like mine there. Once you get that stuff done, then you go ahead and plug your CDI back in. Now this CDI, the cable isn't long enough to run this all the way back to the frame where it's supposed to go. So we're gonna actually make a small mount for this up here on the frame, and we're gonna mount it right up by the air cleaners, and I think that'll work really good. I may even just put a couple zippy ties around it for now just to hold it there, and then custom make a mount later on. All right guys, so give me a second. I'm gonna go ahead and get all this cleaned up, get everything out of the way, and then we're gonna try and fire this thing up, and hopefully, fingers crossed, the coil, CDI, stator, and flywheel fix this thing. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. The spark was kind of weak before. The coil, I tried the coil first and then tried firing it up. That didn't work. So that's why I went for the CDI, stator, and flywheel. And I may, if I get it running, I may individually swap those out to see which one actually failed, which I think it's the stator, because it looks like one of those cheap 200-watt Ricky stators that are commonly failing. But hey, I mean, who am I with a Chinese stator, you know? So let's go ahead and try and fire it up quick. Now that we finally got this thing fired up, let's go ahead and get the bars and the handles changed out on this thing. I'm very excited to see what they look like. I've had them sitting forever. I really want to check this thing out. Start by getting the handlebars off, getting the kill switch off, and then removing the clutch handle and brake lever assemblies. I'm actually really excited that we are finally getting to upgrade some of this. This thing has looked like a little bit of a disaster up here for quite some time. I'm really excited to see what this thing's gonna look like when it's done. It's gonna change the entire look of the quad.
I was starving, now I'm eating till my belly full. From up north, we get cold, you need a heavy coat. Scared to end up on a shirt before a centerfold. Devil on my back, target on me, deadly too. Play for keeps, don't tweet. It's not peace, don't speak. 24, no sleep. This is real, no tweet. My bros for life, can't break this link. Family on my side, baby stay around me. I don't want no combo, I want checks. I don't want the second, I want this. I'm all in my ass way, I'm a wreck. I've been moving like a hot mess. I don't want no combo, I want checks. I don't want the second, I want this.
So we got those bars off. We'll go ahead and get these ones on. Alright, so these actually don't fit properly. These bolt holes are literally a couple millimeters off. So I'm going to go ahead and take a drill bit and just open these up just a little bit. And then we'll come back and put these adapters on. Alright guys, so let's take a look and see how the fitment is on this thing. Now I actually wound up having to grind down just a little bit of the outside of the hex head too. All I did was stick this in a drill and stick it against a grinding stone on a bench grinder, take some of the edge off, and then they should slide in there real nice then. So let's take a look here and see. Alright, and that's that. So, with that being done, let's see if we can get the bars on quick. I like that, it looks pretty good. Actually looks really dope. We'll get these clamps set in, we'll get everything where we like it. Oh man, I actually really like this. I thought for sure I was gonna miss the blue Alba clamp, but to be honest with you, like, I actually really like the way this looks. So we'll go ahead and get these tightened down quick. I don't know, you guys tell me, what do you think? I think that looks pretty good. Let's get the pad on, let's get the rest of our things on, let's get our handlebar clamps on, see what this looks like. right, guys. So this thing turned out freaking sick.
Time to pretend. I'll feed your ego. Together we go. Playing dirty, talking cheap.
We got a $20 set of Chinese aluminum levers on this thing, okay? For the clutch and the brake. And I'll just tell you, like, that green really, really meshes awesomely with the blue handlebar. So let's check this thing out. Check this thing out. I mean, I really like that. For 20 bucks, what can you really expect? I mean, these were a direct replacement for the stock perch and the stock master cylinder. And I mean, this is just awesome. I really love the way this goes with the quad. And it really matches the blue. It really goes with the blue and green theme of the Banshee. I mean, just look at this thing, man. This thing's gonna look dope. Those handlebars really give this thing an entirely different look from before. Here's the old bars, and I mean, in comparison, those are really just beautiful compared to these drag bars. Don't get me wrong, I love my drag style bars, but these Pro Tapers just really are insane looking. Alright guys, so that's gonna wrap this video up for today. On the next one, I wanna get some more race fuel. I wanna take this thing out for a proper rip and start dialing in the carbs. I know it's been a long time since we got this thing running good, but I really wanna dial it in for the summer weather, and then I don't know what we're gonna do with it after that. But I'll tell you what, this thing is gonna rip. So as always, if you guys enjoyed the content, make sure you give me that thumbs up, the like, share, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one. Peace!